Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne and I've got the pleasure today of unboxing Brother Innov-is F420 sewing machine. Now, bear with me because there's a lot in this box and I'm very much a straight stitch, zigzag stitch sort of person, but I think there's a lot more in here than just a simple sewing machine. Right, instruction manual, very important. Don't do what I do. Read the instruction manual before you start using your sewing machine because they're all a little bit different. You've got a nice plastic case on this as a dust cover. Keeps it perfectly dust free and lint free. And there you have it. That's actually quite a light machine. Bearing in mind it's got quite a sturdy body, you can lift that quite easily with one hand. Now there's all sorts of bits in here which I won't show you because I suspect there are attachments to it, but you've got spare spool holders by the look of it. I think this might even be a knee lift, I'm not entirely sure until I read the instructions. You've got your power cord and you've got your foot pedal, and also you've got your starter kit with tools, spool holders, twin needles, screwdrivers, strange plastic thing, screwdriver key, all inside a handy pouch. Let's pop them away and don't let me lose these. So, with the Innov-is, just pop this on the floor a minute. I'm going to lay this down so that you can see. I won't plug it in today because this is going to be sent out to one lucky reader, but it will be a digital display, so you'll have plus and minus, which I would imagine will be for your stitch length. There's another plus and minus here, another one here. So what you'll find is you'll have a stitch length, a stitch width. There's various stitching options here. You've got a straight stitch, you've got a needle off to one side straight stitch, a needle off to the other side I would think, reverse button, buttonholing. Oh my goodness, you will need to read the instruction book. You've got an embroidery function here as well by the look of it, and I would imagine once you press one selection you can then plus and minus up through a menu. You've got a speed here, so that's for the slowest. If you're doing really tricky work you want to set it on slow. If you're doing long seams with no pins that you can just race straight through, set it onto the highest speed. The foot control, if it's anything like the Brother that I've got at home, the foot control is quite responsive, so find your own speed. By the look of it, that's an instant cutter. That's a needle down position, so that if you're sewing a seam and you're turning a corner, you can just make sure that you stop it with a needle down. There's nothing worse than lifting your press foot up and realising that you haven't secured your fabric in some way and it slips out of position. I don't know what that button is. This button is a reverse stitch button. This button is an automatic sewing button that you will use without your without your foot control pedal. So again, if you're doing long straight seams and you're not comfortable with a foot pedal, you can just press this button and it starts and stops, and it does that quite quickly. So don't be worried that the machine's going to run away with itself and you're not going to be able to control it. Just lifting up to the top, you will notice that there is nowhere actually to put your thread. And I suspect somewhere in here, I hope somewhere in here, look, there you go. The cover just lifts off. Let me lay this down again for you. And as I thought, there is a multitude of stitches in here, so no straight stitch, zigzag stitch. There's all these different embroideries and applique work. Oh my god, you will need to sit down and have a good play around with this. But inside here is where you put your threads. So your bobbin winder will be here, and in most modern machines now, you push your bobbin winder over, and instead of having to release the clutch like you used to on an old machine, that will automatically do it for you. That will be your bobbin thread tensioner, and then you will thread it down through here, screw down all of your machine. Let me just... I don't want to take too much packaging out of this, but I will, if you bear with me. Just take this piece of polystyrene out so that you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, again, you've got an automatic needle threader on here as well, which, yep, is this. Now, automatic needle threaders, when I couldn't get my head around them whatsoever. The trick is to make sure that your needle is in its highest position. You bring the needle threader down. You'll have to read the instructions as to where to put the thread, but essentially what happens is a little hook comes up through the eye of the needle, grabs the thread and threads it for you. And when you get older and when you're sewing at midnight and your eyes are tired, those needle threaders are a godsend, because most of the time I have to take the needle out of the sewing machine, thread it like that and then put it back in. I think that's about all I need to show you. Most machines thread up the same way, as long as you put it through the tensioning disc and the up and down lever, can't remember what the name of it is. Also in the front here, you will find, I can tell this is just straight out of the box. There is your, oh look at that, there's your storage compartment with a selection of feet, your stitch unpicker, your buttonholer, oh, and that lifts out, your bobbins, there's more storage underneath there. Taken that out, I now can't put that back in because I'm cack-handed. No, there you go. The other thing as well is you will find that the whole thing lifts out so that, and you can see here, if you're sewing something like a cuff, you've got more of a, it's a lot easier to do it. You can actually put a trouser leg or a, you know, a shirt sleeve on there to sew around it. Got a nice wide space in the middle here, so you can do your quilting on it. Yeah, all in all, I think this is a machine that anybody would be proud of. I'm actually a bit jealous. And yeah, here we go. The Brother Innov-is F420. A nice, lightweight machine with more stitches than you can shake a stick at. See you next time.